It is day 21 of the 100 Days of Making Comics. I'm Joshua Kemble, and this is the challenge where I spend at least 30 minutes a day minimum working on my comic for 100 days consecutively. The comic I'm working on is my graphic novel, Quarterly Stories, which is about faith and mental illness. And this is the vlog where I will show the process and the progress of creating that comic during the 100 Days Challenge. You can see it serialized online at quarterlystories.com, or you can follow along at Tapas by searching for Quarterly Stories and adding it to your library. That actually helps me extend the readership. Of course, if you check it out on Tapas and you're like, this is terrible, then don't add it. You don't have to. But if you like what you see and you like these videos and you like kind of some of the content that I've been making, that's a good way to kind of show your support. There's also some products and stuff and t-shirts I've done that you can basically purchase that are linked in the notes below. I often forget to even mention those products and stuff, but I've made a ton of t-shirts. You can also check out joshuakemble.com and look in the store section. Yeah, I mean, you can also just Google, see what comes up. But anyhow, you can also just hear all these weird plugs that are at the beginning of the vlog before I even get into content. So for day 21, I'm heading to work, and what I'm actually kind of rethinking my page a little bit, and not the layout for the borders, but I'm actually starting to think that it might be good to make it a literal airplane diagram. So use a lot of airplane imagery in that kind of corny airplane manual style, because it was interesting because I initially had that concept of it's going to kind of reference that, but I feel like if it were a little more bold and clear, that might actually kind of make the concept hit home even more. And then I was also thinking, since it's about panic disorder, what causes panic more than an airplane in flight? I mean, that's one of the most common fears people have is airplanes. So yeah, so maybe it'll be kind of a tripped out airplane diagram. We'll see. I'm gonna have to kind of play with it, but it does put a little bit of a spoke, a bit of a stick in the wheel of the progress while I'm thinking about it. I'm not gonna overthink it, but I tend to get these weird gut instinct things as an artist every once in a while. And if there's anything that I've learned in the years that I've spent doing professional illustration and graphic design, it's to trust your gut, especially on concepts, because a lot of the time your gut is dead on, which is weird. Actually, that just goes across the board in management. You need to trust your gut. So yeah, let's see. So that's my goal tonight, is to hopefully kind of start figuring that out and working out my comp a little better, and then Artcasters has a full group. I think we're gonna have 4 guests on tonight, and so you'll probably have seen Artcasters already. So you'll let me know if Scott and I having 4 other people on is a disaster or a success. I think we can make it work. And it's funny because we got all 4 on board and we were like,
watch out, object on road ahead.
Oh, that's Waze just warning me about an object on the road ahead. But anyhow, so you guys can tell me, on this vlog whether that's a disaster or not, because generally the way we kind of roll with things on Artcaster is to have a max of 2 guests. And usually only 1 alternating guest, because when you get that many people in a conversation, it can be really difficult to, the way that we do it, it can be difficult to keep the conversation flowing. But we'll see how it goes. I'm also pretty pumped about the the Monty Python show coming up. That's tomorrow. The opening is from 7 to 9, and it's at Gallery 1988. And I think I mentioned that I got a little worried and kind of emailed the gallery, and they ended up getting back to me and being like, yeah, it's Friday. Which is funny because if you watched a vlog a few vlogs ago of the 100 days, I think it was like day 17 or 18, something like that, I was just kind of talking about how exciting it was to see Monty Python tweet it, and yet for some reason I still kind of just wasn't sure it was going to happen, and it is going to happen. So pretty excited about that. Let's see what else. I posted a new page to Tapas of quarterly stories, so that is at page 12. And I'm just heading to work, and I'm feeling good. I actually exercised yesterday. If you guys aren't familiar, I'll kind of explain. So I found myself...
Watch out. Vehicle stops on shoulder ahead.
Waze is so rude. It just interrupts all the time. But, I mean, I found myself getting exhausted a lot, feeling like weak, and getting sick more often. And I realized after reading a lot of stuff about how to kind of have energy as an artist, and how to kind of improve mental health and stuff, because I've suffered from, and that's such a cliche way to say it. It's not like I've suffered from it, but I've struggled with pretty severe depression in my past. And I mean, it's a struggle that I think most people with mental illness or whatever, or mental difficulty, or honestly, I think most people across the board have certain personality traits, certain proclivities when it comes to like mental stuff. So some people are more prone to anxiety, some people are more prone to like rage, some people are prone to depression, and I happen to be one of those people who's prone to depression, and I'm aware of it. So that's also another reason that when I read more and more about exercising, I realized like that is something I've never done like my whole life. I used to be kind of one of those more book type people in high school. I hung out with all the outcasts, and you know, we'd talk comedy, we'd talk about Monty Python, we'd, you know, discover new records and stuff like that. Like, that was our sport. Was more intellectual. Not that we were intellectuals at the time. I mean, we were stupid high school kids, but the point being, I always viewed myself as a person whose sport was being intellectual. And, you know, one thing that hit me pretty hard, pretty recently, you know, this is like about maybe a year or two ago, was the fact that a lot of intellectuals exercise, a lot of artists exercise, a lot of people exercise, and for some reason I had never had that as part of my routine, and I was subsequently more tired and kind of seeing the health effects of not exercising as I'm getting older, because I'm finally reaching that age where like that crap catches up to you, you know. But what's cool is that I decided to do something about it. So I started doing yoga, and initially I just started doing the rowing machine, and it's really good for your heart, and it's good as like an all-over workout. It's not one of those intense workouts that's going to kill you, but it does sneak up on you, especially when you do it on the highest setting. It's a pretty good workout, especially for the heart. And then I was noticing, like, when I would row, like, I realized, like, wow, I need to stretch a little bit because I keep getting these like back aches and stuff like that. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll mix yoga into my daily routine, just as a way to stretch in a more interesting way, because I honestly don't know much about stretching. I don't know much about exercise. I don't know much about like health in general. Like, I'm just never been that smart with that kind of stuff. That's just never where I've set my attention. And my point being, like, that probably should have been something to set my attention on. But anyhow, so I mixed yoga in, and then yoga like killed me. Like, it's so hard. It's really hardcore. I'm still sick. It's like mild. It's just a throat thing. But the yoga's just been almost harder than the rowing machine workout, and that is, impressed me. And so I was like, I want to do this because there's a whole bunch of stuff I can't do. And still, like, there's this main pose, and it's silly as hell sounding, but it's called downward facing dog. And I remember, like, this is the weird thing. I didn't even know much about yoga, except that when I was in art school, people would do yoga like on the lawn of Cal State Long Beach outside the FA4 building. And we, we used to think it was just hilarious because it was just weird. And then other than that, I didn't really know much about yoga. So, but I also, my knowledge of yoga also extended to, there was a bit of time, like a couple year period, where I was doing editorial illustrations for Women's Health magazine in Australia. And they had me do a bunch of like workout illustrations, like, like how to airplane diagram type stuff, but, of like yoga. And like once again, it's just kind of this funny little circle of life where I'd do those illustrations and I'd be like, who's gonna do this stuff? And now I'm doing yoga. But anyhow, one of the main poses in yoga, and it's always been a funny name to me, is downward facing dog. And it's like, it's one of the key poses, at least in the routine or style of yoga that I've been doing. And ideally in downward dog, you're supposed to have like both your legs, like, it's a weird pose. Look it up online. But anyhow, there's this way you're supposed to kind of lean forward. You arch your hips up, your hands are on the ground, and then your legs are on the ground, like back here. And when you see like a pro yoga person do it, like the instructor that I follow, it's like her feet just lay flat when she's like, and the way that you're bending, it's like, it's weird because my feet will not go flat. Like, I'm always on my tiptoes during downward facing dog. And as I've been doing yoga for about like 90 days now, I've noticed like my feet are getting a little closer to hitting the ground, which is weird. Very strange. Sorry for the coughs. I don't know if I'm going to edit those out, because the goal of this is to not have these videos be the main project. Like, this video is to kind of catalog thoughts and follow the progress of me on the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, and then share whatever comes up. Anyhow, the point being, the yoga thing and the rowing machine thing, I've been pretty hardcore about and kept at it pretty much every day, for like pretty much like an hour every day. I have like a workout routine. And the last like 3 days, I hadn't done it. And I was starting to feel tired again. And so yesterday, before I, got into my comic, I was like, you know what, I need to get in my workout. And I got in my workout, I had my protein shake thing, and and I feel better today. So that's what I've noticed, and that's why I keep with exercise, because it does help. And that's pretty much, you know, a habit that I've built and kind of kept with, and fell out of for a couple days and got back on and feel better for it. And that's pretty much been my experience every time doing working out, is that, you know, I never regret it. It's very much like the 100 Days Challenge, where, you know, if you spend 30 minutes a day doing anything beneficial, anything that's like advancing your life or enhancing your experience, you tend to feel better for it. So yeah, so that to me has helped me, even in the case of this 100 Days Challenge, because without that workout in my routine, I'd feel exhausted a lot, because I'm not getting as much sleep, and not really having a time where I'm not working on art very long. And so it helps to kind of release some energy. It helps to like gain energy too. So it's weird. It's like you just feel more pumped going into your day, and today is no exception. So anyhow, I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna try to stay awake and alive and alert. We're doing some really interesting stuff, and I gotta go because my throat is starting to get really irritated. And yeah, so I will follow up with you guys after Artcasters, and this will probably be maybe grouped with day 22, so it'll probably be day 21 and 22 on this video. So anyhow, tonight my goal is to get photo references, comp out the pages a little bit, kind of figure out this whole airplane thing, and then navigate a podcast where there's going to be 6 of us on, which is quite ambitious, and I don't know if it's going to work. But, you know, worst case scenario is like we fail and it's a bunk episode. Best case scenario, it might be a really good Artcasters. It's all really good people. Alright, that'll do it. Bye. Still have a sore throat kind of thing, but I'm excited because I am off work today, and it's an early Friday, so it's a 3-day weekend. I don't take a lot of vacation time. I did this year use some of it to go to Utah, which I've vlogged about.
900 feet. Turn right onto Foothill Boulevard.
I'm still getting interrupted by Waze. I always leave Waze on because I commute a lot, and Waze notifies me if there are cops on the road or if there's like a crazy problem, and all that kind of stuff. So I leave it on, but man, Waze is really rude. She doesn't even say excuse me.
Turn right onto Foothill Boulevard.
See? Anyhow, so I am pumped to be off of work. I'm really excited about the Gallery 1988 show. I'm really excited about Artcasters tonight. I think it's going to be a good group of people, and I'm stoked to talk to Scott because it's just a good show. It's fun. I have fun doing it. We have a lot of the members of the hundreds in our audience, like, and I hesitate to even call them an audience, because at the same time, it's like a big hangout with a bunch of buddies, and I like it. I like the experience. I like checking out what people are doing in the chats. I like the amount of art I get done when we do Artcasters, and that should be on my channel. So if you're curious how that went, you know, check out the Artcasters, the last video before this on my video stream. It should be pretty good. I hope it's good. We'll see. It could be chaos, because like I said, there's gonna be 6 of us, which is insane. 6 people. But so that's going good. The guy who is I'm training an employee at my work, that's going well, which is awesome. It was just a good day. It just felt nice and fresh and good, and I'm excited to kind of get that going.
In a quarter of a mile, turn right onto Maclay Street.
So something I was thinking about today, because at my work we have to fill out like self-evaluations, and I was thinking about, like, to me, the way I approach evaluations, like both giving and writing evaluations,
In 1,000 feet, turn right.
is in a way where I'm trying to be as honest and kind of vulnerable with myself and with other people about ways they can improve. And also be realistic, like give attainable goals and achievable improvements, because we're all human beings, so we're all going to be flawed. But one thing I've improved on, I think, in the last year is being able to really objectively step back and kind of take a look at myself and objectively say what my successes and what my failures were. And that's a really cool thing, and it's a cool ability that I kind of feel like a lot of artists and cartoonists could benefit from, like being able to kind of objectively step back, take a look at their work, and go, is this any good? So that also got me thinking that I really need to print out my comic at size. I need to print out each page. It's only like 64 pages that I'd need to print. I was in the habit of doing that. I even had a little binder with them at scale, so I could kind of keep track and make sure, and also quickly reference older pages. And somewhere along the time my wife and I moved to this house, I lost track of that. And so that's something that was just dawning on me, because I want to see this stuff scaled down again to frankly just make sure it's actually still as good as I think it is. I don't think it's great.
Turn right onto Maclay Street.
I feel pretty proud of how it is, and I want to see the proof in the pudding. All right, that'll do it for now. I'm gonna basically catch up with you guys probably after Artcasters, or what I might do right now is I might just do okay, now here is a segment where you're gonna see the artwork that I did during Artcasters. Alright, so we had a full house for the 100 days of making comics episode. It was like our final push to try to help the Kickstarter for the anthology for people who've already completed the 100 days challenge on Artcasters. Went pretty well, but it is now let's see, it's now 11 o'clock, and I still have to get my comic work done, because most of what I got done during the Artcasters was basically just doing revisions and vectorizing. I know it sounds like a technical term, but basically just converting some art to vector and doing some subtle revisions for my client. So that is almost out of the way. I got to get that finished, and then I'm going to basically work on a little more page layout for quarterly stories, and hopefully get day 21 done, so that my 100 days challenge can officially be old enough to drink. So we'll see how that goes, and then hopefully I can get the video up, and I will probably leave it uploading, so you'll probably see this tomorrow when it uploads, because that's going to be super late. Yeah, alright. Client artwork has all been vectorized. It's now like 12 midnight, and I'm actually going to get going on my comic work. So I will follow up with you guys when I get there, but man, it's been a long day. If you guys are curious what I was up to, check out the last Artcasters too. And yeah, so I'll now get going on day 21 and knock this out,
and I need to hopefully do it in like 30 minutes so I can actually get some rest. So I'm actually pretty excited about what I've gotten done. It's almost 1 in the morning, so I need to get this thing edited and up. But first, let me show you what I did for day 21 of 100 Days of Making Comics. I actually decided to just get some photo references and do some quick layout. And I'm gonna go full out airplane diagrams. So I decided to use as much generic like clip art as possible. When it comes to penciling, I'm gonna use like a really linear airplane diagram style. I also have this idea of having the numbers for each panel kind of like it would be in an airplane diagram, and actually I'm pretty excited about it because I think airplanes just signify a lot of anxiety. So yeah, I'm really happy with the kind of surprise results of this because I wouldn't have thought of doing the airplane diagram until doing the thumbnail, and then the thumbnail just kind of rounding the edges of the panels made me think of anxiety and airplanes, and I wanted it to feel like an airplane diagram anyway, but I'm really excited about it, and I think it'll actually really convey the plot, add a little bit of humor, but at the same time really drive the point home of what it's like to have a panic attack. So I'm a little bit closer to, basically getting to draw, which at this point I'm really looking forward to. I'm also a little bit closer to getting to sleep. So that'll do it for day 21 of 100 Days of Making Comics. I will see you guys tomorrow, where I'll follow up with you on how the Monty Python show went. So Gallery 1988 in Los Angeles is having an official Monty Python themed show, and it's pretty cool. It's all licensed art, so it's super official. And I think I've talked about it ad nauseum, but I have a piece in the show, and I'm pretty excited. It's my first Gallery 1988 show, and I'm showing along with a lot of really talented artists, so I feel really stoked and honored to be a part of it, and hopefully it's a good experience. I'll let you guys know. All right, thanks to those of you who have commented, liked, shared, and subscribed to these YouTube videos. I know I say that every time, but I'm sincerely thankful. And, people who've not liked the videos, I'm also thankful to you. It helps the videos. All right, I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.